I was lucky enough to do a conference with the awesome Robert Holden. Don't know if you know Robert Holden's work. He's another Hay House author like me. And he at the time was having his house renovated, and he said to me, he said, everything is a kind of a, how did he put it? Sorry, everything's like a, the external is the internal is the external. How your house is how you are. How your body is how you are. And he said, right now I have no roof. And he liked that because he thought that was an indication that he had no limits. So at the moment, my house has a roof. It has no wall. I don't know, that makes me less hemmed in than most people. We're down to the last, hopefully, negotiation with the builder. It's been a real journey. And I feel like I can't actually say too much about it yet, but I can tell you that I have treated it as a spiritual exercise. And I've learned from it. Yeah, I've just written an article for those of you, well, actually, I was going to say for those of you in the UK, but they have an amazing website, the Daily Mail newspaper. A lot of people don't like the Daily Mail. I actually quite enjoy reading the Daily Mail because I love a bit of celebrity gossip. I know that's probably really old-fashioned or whatever. Is it? I don't know. I'm sure my son would say it is. Anyway, the Daily Mail do the odd astrology article, and they ask me to write them sometimes, and I did just write one for them about Saturn return. And as I was writing about Saturn return, I was thinking a lot about everything I've been going through in my life, with the house and the renovations, and they've stuck. I mean, I think they've really stalled now. And hopefully we're going to get them going today. You never know. In which case the people, the workers will be back in there tomorrow. Just for the record, we've paid every single penny that we owe. I just want to go on the record as saying this is stalled for other reasons. We have paid every single penny that we owe. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, it's all a big spiritual journey. And what I kind of wanted to talk about today was, rather than going into that too deeply, just to say that we are now at the very end of the waning cycle, if I'm not mistaken. We have a new moon coming up. I was actually mistaken. Somehow I wrote that it was going to be a new moon eclipse. It's not. Actually, the lunation after is a full moon eclipse, so I think I got a little bit confused. But overall, we are now in the waning cycle of the moon. Breathe out. Why breathe out? Because the waning cycle is all about breathing out, letting go, and releasing. So, hands up if you need to do some releasing. The waning cycle and the waxing cycle are the two main cycles of the moon. You may or may not know. Sometimes I think everybody knows all this stuff, and then I don't explain it. And sometimes I think, you know what? Maybe it's a good time. So maybe it's a good time to explain it. And afterwards, I'm going to talk about the astrology and the moonology of the month ahead for the month of November. But let's just quickly, debrief on the waxing and the waning cycle for people who don't know about it. So effectively, the cycle of the moon is split into either 2 or 4 or 8 sections, depending on how you look at it. Okay, so you get either the 2 sections are the waxing and the waning cycle. So the waxing is from the new moon to the full moon, and the waning is from the full moon to the new moon. So why do we say that? Because at the start of the new moon is the start of the lunar cycle, and then basically the moon gets bigger in the skies every night. You can't actually see the moon at the time of the new moon. For various reasons, including astronomical ones. And then we get the first quarter moon. Then we get the first crescent moon, the sliver of the crescent. Then we get the first quarter moon, and so on and so forth. But basically that's the waxing cycle. So when it's waxing, it's getting bigger and bigger. Now, I read the loveliest thing about this today, that it was based on, it was a Hindu tradition, and someone in my subscriber group, Barbara Campbell, actually brought it up. Barbara, hello if you're watching. It was something to do with the idea, and I believe it's a Hindu idea, that, and I'm going to look into it more, but basically what the idea was that during the waxing cycle, the moon basically sends out really good energy, really good vibes. I think soma was one of the words that was used. Soma is a word, as I understand it, I know about soma from, you know, they say when you meditate or you do yoga or something like that, you produce soma on your body, which is, you know, a thing. And that's why they always say have a bath or a shower before you meditate or before you do yoga, ideally, because you don't want to wash all the soma off, S-O-M-A. And then we get the full moon, so that's the end of the waxing cycle, and then we move into the waning cycle. And that is when the moon actually, basically, according to this thing I read about only today or yesterday for the first time, but then during that time, as the moon gets smaller and smaller, it's actually, I believe, sort of sucking back good energies in from the universe, ready to send them out again at the time of the new moon. So we are in that time now where the moon is getting smaller every night. Let's see, I think it's the 1st today, and I'm pretty sure the new moon is on the 4th. It's on the 4th or the 5th. I'm useless with dates. If you know me, you know that. So it's on the 4th or the 5th this month. And yeah, like now's the time to let it all go. Now's the time to release it. Just like go, you know what? Om Namo Narayani. So those of you again who know me, you know I chant that all the time. It's the chant from the ashram that I've been going to on and off for how long? 15, 16 years. And it means I surrender to the divine, or I surrender to the divine mother. Now, let's go one step further. What does that actually mean? Does it mean I surrender, like hands up, I give up? No, obviously not. We wouldn't do it. It means, does it mean I surrender this issue to the divine, so the divine can deal with it for the best, in the best possible way? Yeah, it does actually. So, you know, I've been surrendering all this stuff for the last couple of full moons actually. Every month, like, come on divine, please take care of it, come on divine, please take care of it. And I totally accept that there are reasons why it's not happening yet, and everything happens in divine timing. And yeah, so basically that's sort of where we're at. We're at the stage of trying to get everything sorted out, and hopefully it's all happening in divine timing. Someone's saying that I'm trying to call, actually, because I take calls every week here. Let me see if I've given the number incorrectly. It's 816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555. So let me know if you want to call in. Let me just see if there's anyone waiting already. Yes, oh, there are two. Actually, yeah, maybe Louis, we can take a call. Louis, why don't we go to line 2 and we'll speak to Melanie. Hi, Melanie. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. So I do have one issue, which is that I went away for the weekend and I've put my cards somewhere and I literally don't know where they are. So what we're going to do today is a bit of astrology. Good old-fashioned astrology. Okay, so Melanie, what's happening with you? How are you? Oh, it's nearly your birthday.
Yes, this Monday.
Excellent. Okay, so what's news? What can we do for you?
I'm just wondering what it says for the month in general, with my birthday and the new moon and whatnot. So I'm looking into, still working on buying the house I'm in, and career change.
All right, so you're trying to buy, have we spoken before?
Yes, you have.
Okay, so how long ago was that, and what's happening with the house?
I believe it was in the springtime, summertime when we spoke last, and we've gotten closer. We've got over some roadblocks and challenges, but it's coming closer, and we're hoping by the end of the year. Right.
I mean, you know, on like the absolute basic of what I would say is if you haven't sold the house after months and months and months, it's probably too expensive. You need to drop the price.
Oh, no, we're buying it.
Oh, you're buying a house. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, so it's taken, what, since last spring and you haven't bought the house yet?
No.
Okay, what's the hold up? I mean, we just had the same thing. It took us 9 months to buy this house, and in the end it was all about divine timing. But what's the hold up for you guys?
It's going into foreclosure, and we don't have a landlord.
Right. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Well, we rented the house off to somebody, and he has since disappeared. We can't get a hold of him, so now the house is going back to the bank. So we want to just sort of take over the mortgage before it goes into foreclosure, and then we have to move.
Right.
So that's the holdup.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking at your chart. You have Jupiter and Saturn still in your 4th house. They're actually there for a while longer. And so basically lots of lessons to learn. Luck is on your side. You still have the planet of chaos, Uranus, right opposite your sun. So you can still expect, you know, crazy times, basically. Are you feeling like it's a bit of a crazy time?
Yes. With the holidays coming up and have a new grandbaby being born on the 21st of December.
Wow.
My new grandbaby was born on April. She just turned 6 months, so that was big. It's going to be her big first Christmas too. So 2 grandbabies coming this Christmas for the first time, Grandma.
Wow.
Yeah, it's big right now.
Okay, well, listen, the new moon, which is on Thursday, your time, Ontario time, is in the sign of Scorpio. You're a quadruple Scorpio. So it's actually going to be triggering your sun, rising, and Mercury as Uranus, the planet of crazy, triggers your Uranus and your sun. So I honestly think now could be the time. How close do you feel? Do you feel close to it?
Yes.
Well, I think it's either like one way or another. Now's a really, really good time for you to find out what you're going to do. So hang in there. I wish I had a card to give you. I can't give you a card because I literally can't find where I put my cards. So unless my husband's listening and just brings me a random deck of cards, but he's probably not listening. Yeah, but you've got the new moon on your ascendant, Melanie. I mean, the one thing I would say is when I had a new moon, it was an eclipse. When I had a new moon on my ascendant, like you're about to have, I ended up moving really spontaneously from Sydney, Australia, to Paris, France. So if you know your geography, you know that Australia is at the very bottom of it's in the southern hemisphere, down the bottom. And you know, and I went on holidays to Paris and basically liked it and decided to stay. And it was only afterwards I realized I'd had this eclipse on my ascendant. I didn't realize, for anyone who's wondering and understands astrology, basically it was an out of sign conjunction with my rising sign. So it didn't strike me as, oh my God, you know, it's right on my ascendant because it was in the previous sign. So I know a lot of people won't understand that, but for anyone that does, so it wasn't like I was thinking, oh, well, I've got an ascendant on my, an eclipse on my ascendant. I must do something wild and crazy and change my life. I didn't think that. It wasn't until afterwards I thought, what the heck? How did that even happen? What was my astrology that suddenly I moved to Paris? So you have this as well. And I'm just going to say, Melanie, if you can't buy the house, okay, don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because it may be freeing you up for something else. Okay? And I know that's really easy for me to say, but it's genuinely the truth. Okay? So don't be disheartened Don't be disheartened if it doesn't work out. There may be something better.
Yes, that's the way I have to look at it, and I totally understand that.
Yay. Good, good, good. All right, brilliant. All right, well, I'd love to give you a card, but I don't have my card, so I think we just have to say, does that answer your question?
Yes, that helps a lot, definitely.
Okay, good. All right, so make sure you join me on Facebook for my free new moon ceremony. Look in my events page on my Yasmin Boland page to find out when it is. It's free. I don't know what time it is offhand. And when we set intentions, you can set some intentions to, you know, find the right house. And congratulations for being, you know, on the point of buying a house.
Thank you very much. And yes, I'm part of the Stars and Moon membership.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. We're getting so many people there now. I don't know everybody anymore. Once we were so small, but now we're getting bigger and bigger. Melanie's talking about my Sun, Moon and Stars membership, which we're about to maybe open a little bit. We opened it recently, very briefly. We might be about to do another opening. We will see. All right. So does that help you, Miss Melanie?
Yes, it can answer both the question, like both feelings about the house and a career. So it can go either way. If feel like I'm being blocked away, it's because there's probably something better ahead waiting for me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like I said, you know, I moved to Paris when it was an eclipse. Okay, yours is not an eclipse, so this was even more powerful. But when I had the new moon on my eclipse on my ascendant, I literally went to Paris for like, I don't remember now if it was like, say, 7 days or 10 days. Someone gave me the key to their apartment, someone I knew in Sydney, and he knew I was going to London. He said, oh, well, while you're there, go to Paris. I've got an apartment. Here are the keys. Literally, I saw him on the street and he gave me the keys to his apartment. So I thought, well, I can't say no to that. So I went to Paris. I ended up staying in Paris for 2.5 years, met my husband. We got pregnant and ended up having our son, you know, a couple of years later. So it was life-changing, you know, and so you just have to think, okay, it may not be that life-changing because it's not an eclipse, but it's still taking place on your ascendant. So it does mean there is a big change coming for you, all right?
Ooh, exciting.
Yes, well, don't just assume it's going to be positive. Make efforts to make it positive. You know, like if you know that if it seems like this deal isn't going to go through, then have a look online and say, okay, well, you know, what else is being foreclosed on around here? Because I presume that makes it a bit cheaper, does it? You know, and what else can we afford around here? And look around. And with your job, again, just think, okay, I need a job that's a bit different. What am I going to look for?
Yeah, true.
All right?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome, Melanie, and thanks for being in the Sun, Moon and Stars. I'll see you on there. Oh, I think she's gone. Okay. So there you go. So let me just tell you, by the way, in terms of manifesting, there are really 4 different ways that we tend to manifest when we're doing our moon manifesting. So either you're someone who manifests through gratitude. That's one really common way. There are kind of 4 ways that people tend to do it. Either you do it through gratitude. So that just means being grateful for everything good in your life, and it tends to attract more grateful things to be grateful for. Also, a really good way to do it is, in terms of being grateful, is to note when the quarter moons are. So that's halfway between the new moon and the full moon, and halfway between the full moon and the new moon. Just you can look at timeanddate.com and look under moon phases. It tells you when all the quarter moons are, even if you don't know which sign they're in, it doesn't matter. That's a really good time to take time out to do something to be grateful, to have to take a moment for being grateful. I'm just writing something down because I'm working on a journal for Hay House, and I actually just thought, hang on, I don't think we've put the quarter moon gratitude in there. We've really got to do that. So, yeah, I'm not sure where I was with all that, but oh yeah, so you can be a gratitude giver. You can be a magical manifester, so you tend to do things in a slightly more witchy way. You can be a meditation manifester, so you tend to meditate, which is more the way I do it, using chanting, meditation. What I'm manifesting, I don't know if you saw it, but if you're on Facebook, if you looked at my Yasmin Boland page, I think it was on Friday, I was showing a little altar that I've set up to try and bring some good energy back into this whole house thing, because it's all gone a bit south. You might do it through radical releasing. That's another one, which is basically people who tend to work more at the full moon. So it's about the fact that you're able at the end of the month to let everything go. If you want to do the quiz, I have a quiz. If you want to find out what your moon type is, I do have a quiz actually that we're running right now. It's called What's Your Moon Type? And it gives you an idea of the kind of person that you are when you are manifesting, what your manifesting powers are basically. And it's free, and you can get to it via www.moonmessages.com/moon quiz. www.moonmessages.com/moon quiz, and that will take you to the quiz. It's free, and then once you've done it, you actually get an invitation to a very special event that I'm running, which is a series of 3 webinars, which are all about working with the moon. They're like the 3 secrets of the moon that I wanted to share. I think I've actually I'm not sure if I'm still on air with Unity. No, I seem to be. Oh, that's good. So yeah, so do the quiz if you haven't done it yet. moonmessages.com/moon quiz, and find out what kind of manifester you are. So as I said, I'm really a meditation manifester. So for me, if I'm trying to manifest something, what I do is I will go to my altar. So over the years, I've bought lots and lots of beautiful, statues of Mary and Buddhas and all sorts, candles with beautiful pictures of Christ on there. From my travels in India, the beautiful Durga statue I have in metal, brass, I think it is. What else do I have? All sorts of things. Pictures of my teacher in India, Sri Shakti Narayani Amma. And so what I did, I'd love to show you, but I can't because the Unity people won't be able to see it. The Facebook people could. But basically what it is, maybe I'll show you after the break actually. I'll just get in there and get the camera ready. And if you want to watch it, if you're listening on Unity, just go to facebook.com/Yasmin Boland. And you should find it. But basically, I got a little altar thing that I'd bought in an Indian shop here in London, and I got a whole lot of things like my little statue of Buddha. I've got a beautiful bottle of sacred water from Lourdes in France, which is, a very sacred place to Mary, the Mother Mary. And so Mary, I relate to really as a goddess, Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus. I relate to her as a goddess. I have some water from her, from the wonderful astrologer Lynn Bell. If you know Lynn, thank you, Lynn. She gave it to me as a present for nothing. And I've got a Buddha that I bought at a really cool spiritual shop in Encinitas in California. I'm sure you know it. If you live there, it's called Soulscape or something like that. Soulscape. I don't know. I went there and they're really lovely. And I bought the beautiful, I'll show you after the break, yellow Buddha. I've got a beautiful black Madonna, which I'm not sure where I got her, but I think I got her in France. And then what I did is I put a picture. I went online and I found a picture and I printed out a picture of the person I'm having this unresolved, so far, hitherto unresolved conflict with, and I put a picture of him and I said in a frame, and I've got a candle, I've lit a bit of incense, and I've got all the Buddha and Mary and all that. So as opposed to sort of sending him negative energy and being like, oh my God, you're so annoying, which just breeds, more and more of a deadlock. It's actually kind of trying to send positive energy to him and to the situation so that we can resolve it, because he obviously wants to resolve it presumably as much as we do. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with that, and that's what I've been doing. So and I was thinking, you know, it's actually been a really spiritual journey for me. I'm not even joking. Like, I know that sounds a bit of a cliche, but you know, I was thinking, like, I want to tell this story of how this has happened and the highs and the lows and the fact that, oh, there's so much to it. Anyway, I'm out of time. So I'll be back after the break and I will show you my altar and we will talk about the astrology of the month ahead and I'll take some more calls. Stay tuned. Thanks, Louis. For some reason...
Time to get ready for your radio show.
Time to get ready for your radio show. Alexa, stop. Because we've changed the hour, so my Alexa reminder is an hour late. Okay, Louis, so we'll be back on at 33:30, yeah?
That's right. We got about 3 minutes from right now.
All right. So usually that's realised after the situation ends. I don't know what that is. What's realised? All the lessons? I'll tell you, the reason why I really started to realise what's going on in this situation with this guy, with this, I don't know what to call him. He runs the company, but he is their salesman. Like, he's a really good salesman. He comes out and he tells you all the stuff. And the builder we have no problem with whatsoever. The builder's great. Anyway, I wrote this article about Saturn for the Daily Mail. I think I started talking about this and I got off track. And it really kind of brought home to me about, you know, what Saturn demands of us. And Saturn has actually been aspecting one of my very personal planets. And I can see the lessons, you know, I can see the lessons here. Now, I like to think I've learned my lessons. I've tried to learn these lessons before. It's, you know, we all have these lessons. I'm going to tell you what it is. One of the lessons, no, you know what? I'm not going to say anything until it's all resolved. But I've learned lessons. So there you go. Let me just ask Olivier if he could find my cards for me. Alexa, make an announcement.
What's the announcement?
Darling, could you bring me any deck of oracle cards, please?
Announcing.
Darling, could you bring me any deck of oracle cards, please?
It's been very difficult on us, on my husband and I, going through this. It hasn't been nice at all. But luckily for me, he's actually the world's most amazing man. So, yeah, so like in terms of... oh, yeah, there's a number missing. In terms of learning stuff, I've definitely learned a lot of stuff as a result of all this. So, you know, we all learn. We all live and learn. One thing I've learned is we actually did read the contract. My husband is a saint, says Leslie Johnson. I don't know how you know that, but you are completely right. He is a saint. That's what I said to the guy who runs the company, Graham. I said, you've really upset my husband. And you have no idea how difficult it is to upset my husband. It's like, if you've upset him to the point of this, man. You need to focus on your blessings, says Colleen Ann. Yes, exactly. We are focusing on our blessings. That's exactly what we're doing. We are focusing on our blessings. Oh, thank you, my darling. Someone just said you're a saint.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, here we are. Perfect timing.
That's 816-251-3555.
Here we go.
Find out what's happening in the skies. Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
That's me. Hello, everybody. It's Yasmin Boland back after the break. Hello to all my Facebook people who just sat there and put up with me. Oh, so I wanted to do a card for Melanie, who was our caller in the first half of the show, who is wanting to buy a house and also get a new job. So I thought, I didn't have my cards, but in the break, my beautiful husband Olivier came and gave them to me. And I picked you a card, Melanie, if you happen to be listening or watching. And it says, you are good enough. You are good enough. So let's just read that out. This is my old deck of cards, my new deck of cards. I should say my first deck of cards, my beautiful first deck of cards. My new deck is going really well. People are loving them. They've really helped me through this whole thing. They've really helped me, actually, which has been amazing. Because the thing, I don't want to digress too much all the time, but the thing I said to my husband this morning as we talked about, I said, the thing is, or last night, this has been a spiritual journey for me. And he's like, okay, what do you mean exactly? And I said, the thing is that this is like the law of attraction and manifesting in action. And I teach this stuff. I talk about it all the time. So when it comes to something like this, I need to really observe what's happening, because that impacts my experience and then what I teach and what I know to be true. And I know to be true so many things that are taking place here. Someone said before she had problems with a builder and she just kept doing a gratitude lists. That's a lovely idea. I don't think we've done a gratitude list. I've done mainly chanting and kind of like affirmations and intentions and all that. But I might do a gratitude list this afternoon as well. He's gone quiet. You know, he just doesn't answer his phone for hours at a time, which is a little bit challenging, shall we say, to maintain that positive thing. Okay, so just quickly for you, Melanie, from before the break, worrying too much will attract more things to worry about. Stop second guessing yourself. Raise your karma by doing something good for you, for someone else. That is your message, Miss Melanie, from before the break. All right, so I'm going to talk about the astrology of November, which is kind of quite big. And then I will take another call because there are people who are waiting. Okie dokie. So when we look at the astrology for November, the big thing is that there is a full moon eclipse. So we're getting the new moon eclipse very soon at the end of the week. And as I said, I'll be doing a ceremony. I'm actually going to do a dark moon ceremony. I guess I'll be doing that on the 3rd, and then just look on my events page, you can find everything. But I always do a dark moon ceremony, so that's a chance when we all sit down together and we write something and we burn it, just to let it all go. Someone saying, may I suggest you see your situation as healed? Yes, I am seeing it as healed, but at the same time, I'm waiting for him to reply to my text message, which he hasn't done since about 10 a.m. this morning. So, and it's now in England, it's 3:30. So it's like, I'm seeing it as healed. I'm actually feeling it as healed. I really believe, I said I was going to show the altar, didn't I? I really believe that that the altar is helping and has really changed the energy. The other thing was that we had to get a lawyer involved, and she happens to be a really hard-nosed lawyer. Oh, he's just texted me. There you go. When should we have that conversation? I've said to him, I don't want to talk anymore. Can you just like make amendments to the contract, because it's less, challenging than having these conversations that go round and round and round in circles. But he's insisting he wants a conversation. Because why? Why does he want a conversation? Why can't he just put it in the contract? All right, so I won't show you his face, but I'll just show you the side of his face. There you go. There's our Graham. If only he knew. What do you think he would think about being on my altar? So I've got here, for people who are listening on Unity Radio, what we're looking at is my altar. I've got a beautiful bottle of water from Lourdes in a beautiful bottle, but that's shaped like Mary. I've got this fantastic statue of Durga, who I bought that in Glastonbury because I really felt I needed her in my life, and then lo and behold I did. I've got this beautiful, there's a beautiful yellow statue of Buddha, like a resin, see-through, and I bought that at that spiritual shop in Encinitas in California. Then there's a lovely goddess, sleeping goddess, who I bought her in Malta. That's actually a replica, I think, of some of the actual statues there. Then I've got pictures of my teacher in India, one of which is covering up Graham's face. Then I've got this beautiful, it's called a Sri Yantra. If you can see it, it's made of metal, and it's got Sri Yantra, the Sri Chakra, design on it. Now he's constantly texting me. Okay, he's obviously getting the vibes of all you sending good messages. No, I'm not. I have to talk to him after we're finished here. Plus, I have a single terminated crystal quartz for those of you who work. I think it's actually a smoky quartz for those of you who work with crystals. And sitting next to that, because quartz amplifies, I have my citrine manifesting stone, because citrine, as you probably know if you're into crystals, is amazing for manifesting. So I have that manifesting stone, which I've programmed, and also a bit of a lovely little chunk of selenite just to work with the moon, because obviously I'm very dedicated to the moon. And the moon's in the goddess and the goddess is in the moon. And then this is, last but not least, we have this beautiful black Madonna who I think I bought in France, okay? So what do I do when I want to manifest? So I've put him in the middle there. So, you know, often in... when people are angry with someone, what they do, they put them in the fridge, don't they? You take a picture of them and you put them in the fridge, or you put something they gave you in the fridge or whatever, and it's supposed to kind of freeze them out of your life. This is like the opposite. This is dedicating everything to the divine and just saying, you know, please heal this situation. And I've got this beautiful bell, which I bought in India, which I'll ring for you so you can hear it. Just listen. And so what I'm going to do now, if you'll just indulge me, and I'm going to ask you whatever issues you have, I just want this to go away now. I just want to sign the agreement, the side letter we've got, and just say, you know, let bygones be bygones. Mistakes have been made, but let's just get on with it. We want to be home for Christmas. So I'm going to do 3 Om Namo Narayanis, which means I surrender to the divine, or I surrender to the Divine Mother. And I am intending to surrender this up to the divine because I know I've, you know, like I keep saying, it's a spiritual journey. So if you've got something you're willing to hand over the divine, just bring it to mind now. Say it out loud if you want to. And I'm just going to chant 3 times. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. There we go. All right, so that is the story of my manifesting. There's a bit of chanting for the dark moon. I hope that helped you. We'll be doing more chanting as we get closer to the dark moon. Okay, I'm going to go back to my desk now. All right, so let's talk about the astrology of November. All right, so like I said, the big thing about the astrology of November is that there's this full moon eclipse. So we do have this amazing new moon eclipse coming up first. That's going to take place in the sign of Scorpio. And the biggest thing about this eclipse is that it's conjunct Uranus, the planet of 5 cups of crazy. Okay, so it's basically the sign that's completely, you know, crazy, crazy, crazy. But it's also the sign of liberation. Oh my God, I need some liberation. And of awakening, which I think I've done a bit of. That Saturn article that I wrote for the Daily Mail, which will come out either next Monday or the Monday after in the Inspire section. It's about Saturn return, what it means. It really made me think about Saturn. And, you know, Saturn's like the hard taskmaster and makes you do what you said you were going to do, makes you act with integrity, otherwise whips your butt, all this kind of stuff. It also rules lawyers and legal letters and so on. But anyway, this new moon on the 4th is going to be quite a big one. Sign of Scorpio and conjunct Uranus. So what in your life needs to shift? What in your life needs to shift? Obviously for me, this is something I want to shift. Now, do I think I have to wait for the end of the week for this to shift? Well, I mean, realistically, maybe, because his messages he's sending me now are that he doesn't want to conduct the final negotiations on text or email. He just wants to talk about it, which I don't really understand. I just think, well, why don't you just put it out, just amend the contract and send it back to me and I'll just say yes or no. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's going to take the new moon conjunct the planet of radical turnarounds, Uranus, at the end of the week for this situation to shift. Then we move into the waxing cycle. So that's when the moon is getting bigger every night in the sky. And that's when you really need to go for whatever it is you want to achieve in your life. Put your foot down, pedal to the metal. And then we get the full moon eclipse. Let me just find it on the 19th of November at 27 degrees of Taurus. So wherever you have Taurus in your chart is where you are going to be able to do some release work. Just let it all go. So yeah, and the new moon, the dark moon ceremony is going to help as well. So that's the moonology of the month. What about the astrology? What can we expect in November apart from the eclipse? Because the eclipse, in a funny way, I feel like the eclipse kind of trumps everything. So we have, okay, today's the 1st. So tomorrow we have a Mercury square Pluto, which is more freaking verbal wrangling, which I'm really not looking forward to. Then the sun will oppose Uranus. So that's when we get the new moon. There's going to be some changes made. Venus is moving into Capricorn, so good for Venus and Capricorn rising people in particular. Mercury moving into Scorpio. It's going to be easier to talk about things that we normally don't like to talk about, amongst other things. November the 10th looks a bit yuck. I really hope that I've got my stuff sorted out before then, because Mars is going to clash with Saturn. That's like basically arguments waiting to happen. Then the next day, 2 days later, on the 12th, we get a really nice Sun-Venus connection, which is beautiful for meditating. Then we get Venus clashing with Chiron, the Sun clashing with Jupiter, Sun harmonizing with Pluto in the middle of the month, Mars opposing Uranus on the 17th of November. That's basically chaos. That's like an electrical storm while it's snowing or something. It's like high energies as we move towards the eclipse. Then again, we get the Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Uranus, and we get the full moon eclipse. And then it's kind of like things start to calm down after the eclipse. Even though we'll then be into an eclipse season from the 19th of November, we move into the waning cycle. So life will calm down a bit. And the biggest thing that's going on at the end of the month, from the 19th to the 30th, I think is, I think it's fair to say, is on the 27th of November, we get Saturn sextiling Chiron. Now, Saturn sextiled Chiron is basically the out that we have all been getting this year. So we get all these challenges, especially because we've had all the Saturn-Uranus clashes. We get all of those, and then finally we get this Saturn-Chiron connection, which is basically healing. It's basically healing. So once again, you know, we have to get through all this stuff, and hopefully the month is going to end on a healing note. All right, so let me take a call. I'm going to speak to Magali on line 3. Are you there, Magali?
Yes. Hi, thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. How are you? What's happening?
A lot. Having issues with my eldest daughter. I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be resolved soon, or
what's the issue? Can you say in a subtle way what the issue is?
I think she's still on substance abuse, and I think she's making up stories. She wants me to take her side, and it's just, you know, I'm going with my gut feeling. She's done this before when she's been at the height of, you know, using, and she's holding my grandchildren.
Oh my God.
Kind of like,
Sounds so difficult. So, Magali, if you were to talk to her about this,
I should found somebody.
what worries you? What worries you the most? What's your biggest fear in this situation?
My biggest fear is that, I don't know, I guess my grandchildren.
Right, that you won't be able to see your grandchildren.
And love. Yeah, they actually lived with us for a good portion until she found this guy, and I thought he was good for her. But I think it's the same type of person. The last one actually did go to rehab, and I just feel, the influences are bad, and I just worry about them.
Okay, well, the new moon that's taking place this week is actually going to be in your 9th house. And if we use the sort of horary rule, which is the 5th house is your children. So the 5th house from the 5th house is the 9th house. So that's your children's children. So the new moon is actually going to take place in the part of your chart that's all about your children's children. Now, people have been saying to me about... my situation that I'm going through right now. They've been saying to me, do some gratitude. So I'm going to do a gratitude list after we finish here. Let me just write that down. I'm going to do a gratitude list. Someone else said, see your situation as healed, which I have been doing. I have been doing that because, that's the whole feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Like, how are you going to feel when the wish comes true? So they've said that to me. So one thing you should do is do a gratitude list for whatever you can around this situation. See this situation as healed. Visualize yourself with your grandkids in your house, everyone happy. But also, I did actually did you a card. Is that okay? I did you a card. Do you want to hear what it was?
Sure.
I hope that's okay. I just did it while we were talking. Let me just find it. It's a bit hard to find it. Hang on. I don't know why. Every time I'm making my cards, I say to Hey House, can I have numbers on the cards? And they always say no. I don't know why. Anyway, all right. So there are two main possibilities with this card, Magali. The first is that you need to stand firm in whatever situation you're in. So obviously, I guess that means if you really believe your daughter's using drugs, and I'm presuming you're talking about some pretty heavy drugs that nobody wants their children using. So you need to stay firm on that aspect. But the second is very different in that something is stuck. That could well be the situation it could be that the situation you're asking about is just stuck, and you have to think about what you can do to grease the wheels so that events move forward. Are you being stubborn? Are you being stubborn, Magali? Are you being stubborn? Tell us.
It's hard because she's also a Scorpio. So I don't know if we're both being stubborn, but I'm not willing to have her take over my life, and she wants me to do everything her way. That goes against everything I believe.
Right. Well, you do sound a bit stubborn. But if you're only being stubborn about the fact she's using drugs, then that's a different matter. But if you're being stubborn just in general, especially if she's a Scorpio as well, you don't want to be stubborn. So are you being stubborn? If so, that's great, because if you really want to change things, there's a solution. Stop digging your heels in, okay? Be the one to break the deadlock. With two interpretations of this card, it's up to you to decide. So someone needs to back down. That's what it says. Avoid stagnation. All right? So that's what it says, Magali.
Yeah.
I don't think you're very happy with that, but I think it's probably the good advice from the cards, frankly.
Well, what she wants me to do is divorce her stepfather, change my whole life, and,
Right. Well, I'm sure she has her reasons, which I don't want you to have to... I don't want you to have to go into your whole personal life on the radio, but there's probably a reason why she feels that she wants you to divorce him, and you just need to say, I'm not saying you should divorce your husband by any stretch, but maybe you need to just open up the line of communication with her and say, listen, we just need to talk. If you don't want to divorce your husband, say, I'm not going to divorce your husband, you're not going to leave your boyfriend, but let's find a way through anyway, especially when there's grandchildren involved, because it's good for them to see their grandma as well, normally, so... All right.
Thank you.
But just one last thing, Magali, because you're both Scorpios, the new moon, which is taking place, I think on the 4th, it's actually going to help shift things for both of you, but just don't get involved in a big argument on that day or around that day. But it really can shift things. Okay, so keep the faith.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Magali. All right. So I wonder if Magali's going to do any of the things we told her. Gratitude list, see your situation as healed. I feel like there was a third thing someone recommended to me, but I can't remember what it was now. But I will definitely I do see my situation as healed, and I will send I will do a gratitude list. I have a lot to be grateful for. Thank God, touch wood. So there we go. So let's just take one last call before I go. I'm going to speak to Kendra on line 1. Are you there, Kendra?
Yes, hi.
Hello.
I'm here. How are you?
Yay, I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
Where are you?
So I'm really curious. I'm in San Diego right now. I was born in Virginia, though. I live here in Southern California.
Nice. So, yes, what are you wondering? We don't actually have that much time, actually.
I'm just wondering really if there's anything that stands out in my chart. I'm looking to expand my business. I do medical intuitive readings, and really it's going well, but I'd like to, add a couple days and some more clients. And I'm just wondering, I want to make sure I'm doing things within the cycles of the moon.
All right, okay, let me quickly explain, because I don't have that much time, Kendra. So basically what you want to do is you want to put out what they call lead magnets, which are things that if you give away for free that are going to help the people who you would like to have as your clients. And you want to really go for them in the waxing cycle of the moon. So the waxing cycle of the moon, as I said before, it starts at the new moon and it peaks at the full moon. So that's when you want to do all your marketing, basically. Get people to, you want to show people what you've got. I've got you a card. I think, no, yes, no, that's your card. All right, so your card, you've got an easy card, actually, Kendra. You've got, have faith in your dreams. There you go. Have faith in your dreams.
I was thinking about doing a scheduler to my website, and I was thinking maybe the new moon would be a good time for that.
What are you going to do to your website?
Well, I was going to add the ability, a scheduling system so that people can just schedule their own appointments on my website.
Yeah, but what you really need to do is you really need to offer people something to drive them to your website. So people aren't going to know to find you. So you need to write some really great blogs which give people information, like teach them about what it is to be a medical intuitive and how it works and what you can do for them. But tell them about what you do. That's basically how you drive people to your website. And then once they're there, sure, put up a calendar. But there's quite a few steps between hearing about you for the first time and making a booking. I've actually just got permission from Hay House this week to do my own spiritual entrepreneur. I don't know if it's going to be a course or it's going to be a mastermind. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be amazing. So you'll be a prime candidate for that, Kendra. Let me just quickly tell you. Okay, your card says, don't look back, stay focused on moving forwards, be patient as events unfold, dig a little deeper to find more courage. Just because you can't see your dreams, it doesn't mean they're not manifesting.
Very good.
Yes, it is very good, I agree. All right, so on that note, I've only got about a minute left, so are you okay? Can we leave it there?
Yeah, sure, thank you.
All right, Kendra, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. I think I've got about, what have I got? Let's see, 59:30. Yes, I've got 30 seconds. So I'm just going to finish by saying we're talking about manifesting, what we want to manifest. If you haven't done the quiz yet, moonmessages.com/moon quiz. The link is in the description if you're watching on Facebook. Find out your best way of manifesting, and once you've done that, you will get a free that's free, and you'll get a free invitation to my free 3-part webinar series about working with the moon. See you next week, guys.